Human against Night Elf for a spot in the semi-finals, where they will be dodging happy here. The winner of this match will play the second place finisher from the other group. Starting in the bottom right hand side, we've got HawK playing in blue as the Human, and in top left in red it's Foggy. I'm joined by Remo. Are you ready for this match, Remo?
Absolutely. The last game of the day, and this is one of our favorite matchups. Night Elf versus Human throughout the history of Warcraft has always been really entertaining. Thinking back to the old days, like 2009, 10, 11, this was one of the first matchups where we actually saw multi-base play. 2-base versus 2-base, tier 3, sometimes even on both sides. Nowadays, this is what we see in many other matchups. This matchup really led the way, and it's so interesting. Such a cool dynamic, so much back and forth, and especially in this matchup, as the desk touched on, a lot of different hero options as well. We're going to see the Warden here, that one we were expecting, and yeah, HawK probably going to go with the MK. You personally, we know that, much prefer the AM oftentimes, but seems like most humans prefer to go with the MK.
Yeah, actually, I would rate both of them in this matchup, on this map, very, very highly on the list of top players to play on Terrana stands. HawK with the Mountain King is so scary across all matchups, whether it's Mirror, Undead, Night Elf, or Orc. I think he's one of the most incredible Mountain King first players, and on this map in general. But so is Foggy. Foggy is so good with the Warden. He's improved so much with it. He always has the best creep routes, the latest updated ones. And, you know, if he can kickstart the creeping very effectively, if he gets level 3 early on, if he gets a very good item, it's so hard to actually even put up a fight against him. He's so damn good on this map.
Yeah, it's a very interesting playstyle. We know we oftentimes talk about Foggy modeling his play, or at least getting inspired by Moon. With the Warden, it's very different. Moon never plays Terranas, or at least never plays Warden here. Moon is much more about controlling the map, pressuring, looking for a fight early, using his great micro early on to get a bit of an edge. Foggy is much more evasive. He wants to get the expansion rolling, he wants to get an economic edge, he wants to get the big army and be very disruptive with the Warden in the economy and be kind of more multitasking, focused rather than pure micro. As we are ready to load back into the game. Here we go. The issues have been resolved, and indeed it is the Warden and the Mountain King, which means we should be seeing 2-base here before long.
Yeah, and again, the first items here, so important on this map. Foggy doing something a little unusual. We've seen a lot of second Ancient of War near the Merchant here, so you're gonna creep very quickly there, but maybe he's had some games against HawK recently where it didn't go so well when he did that, so instead he's going for the second Ancient of War in the bottom left to creep the orange with the big consumable there usually. And I wonder if there is a chance we see some mass tier 1, because HawK is very predictable on this map. He always goes Mountain King first and he always expands no matter what. He doesn't always necessarily scout enough, even though right now he's doing a very good job with the Footman. So if you can surprise him with this, it could be very scary. But yeah, the second Ancient of War, it's always going to be there. The question is, do we see tech or not from Foggy? And it's a Scroller the Beast plus double Slippers of Agility, and on the other side, the big mana potion, the greater mana, the best item that you can get.
A town is
Hallelujah. That's what both heroes were hoping for. The Mountain King gets it, but the Warden, with those double slippers, shouldn't be feeling too bad. You mentioned the Ancient of War and the Scouting, both very important here, especially in the early game. And HawK having the Footman in the north, not seeing Ancient of War, he knows something's up. He knows something is not right. He sees the tech timing, but he knows this game well enough to realize there's an Ancient of War somewhere, or some building somewhere that he's not aware of. But he's not going to scout there in the corner, bottom left. This is still pretty unusual. After this game of today, perhaps in the future he's going to look there, but the Warden in the meantime can go over after the green camp, creep the Renegade away and reach level 3 pretty much at the same time as the Mountain King.
And he gets the Ring of Regeneration. Really another very good item here for HawK, who's moving out now. He's about to run into this army. I don't know if the timing was that good here for Foggy to be doing this, but he's closing in. Wait, did he just deny that last creep? It feels like he's missing a bit of experience here. But yeah, Warden stuck on level 2 for now. Mountain King preserving the mana with the Stormbolt here. You want to wait until you're sure you can land the Stormbolts. You don't want to Stormbolt too early and have the Warden dodge that with Blink. But now the Warden is inside of the expansion. HawK didn't buy a staff. He needs to move back to get ready for the defense. There hasn't been a Fan of Knives used just yet. Foggy securing level 3 in the center of the map with just the units.
And he's stealing the staff away from the Mountain King. That's also wonderful. Usually you love to have that item on the MK, staff across the map, threaten that Stormbolt, threaten the enemy Berserker, which is really the most juicy pick you can go for. But now, with the staff being on Foggy, this MK much more limited. Gonna have to go for boots, but the staff is gonna be on cooldown for another 2 minutes or so. Oh, Berserker comes out, but that one might be sniped right away. Speaking of the Stormbolt, and that seemed a little careless by Foggy.
Yeah, I think he was counting on if the Berserker gets Stormbolted and the Warden doesn't get Stormbolted, but it's always worth to Stormbolt a Berserker like this and kill it right off the bat. It's a very costly unit, 245 gold. If it dies, it feeds it off experience. Look at this Stormbolt. Oh my god, the Warden taking so much damage. In the meantime, the units in the center are still creeping on their own.
A player's forces are under attack.
And the Warden's gonna have to fall back, heal up, and then maybe start moving out again. But by this time, there's gonna be Arcane Tower ready inside of the expansion. He uses the Greater Healing here instead of trying to blink out of this Stormbolt.
Yeah, it was really telegraphed as well, right? He used the big mana potion, so you knew the Stormbolt was coming. Perhaps blink on cooldown, maybe? We're gonna give him the benefit of the doubt. But the Warden comes in, tries to take out some peasants with a now level 2 fan. Shit gets 0 though. HawK with the perfect defense. He knows exactly what kind of tricks Foggy loves to be up to, and he's giving him no opening.
Wow, 4 Moonwells inside of the main base already, so if HawK was planning on pushing that main base, he's in for a treat. The Berserker took so much damage in the center because it was the tanking unit. You don't want to have your archers tanking, even though the center creeps don't do that much damage. That could be dangerous if HawK were to show up. It's very common after you've set up expansion for the human to go and grab a Shredder. But for the Night Elf to get it this early probably indicates that Foggy will want to be expanding sometime soon here. Whereas usually it's like you always want to rush tier 3 for anti-magic potions so that you can harass peasants even more. But now he went for double lore and hasn't started tier 3 just yet.
This Warden, a serious right-clicker, not usually what she's necessarily known for. Plus 12 agi, plus 17 damage. Is he maybe gonna go for a Demon Hunter second? If only he had a Dark Ranger. Neo knows what I'm talking about. Something we've been seeing a little bit more over on Asia is go for Zeppelin early with the Mountain King here on tier 2 when it turns daytime. Not tier 2, but by daytime you can go for Zeppelin. And then Alchemist second to keep pressuring and keep preventing the expansion for the Night Elf. You think that's something he's going to be doing, or is it just going to go Blood Mage standard?
I think Blood Mage. HawK usually almost always goes Blood Mage. The question is, yeah, what units exactly? Griffin Aviaries have been very popular as of late. Foggy's applying a tremendous amount of pressure with this Warden here, but he's now completely out of mana. There's no mana either for HawK, so Warden should be able to get out of there. Heal up thanks to the 4 Moonwells that he's got at home. But yeah, HawK for the longest time was simply playing with Knights, Breakers, and then adding some tanks. But then tanks went from giving 65 or something experience to 85 or something like that. It just got increased a lot. And ever since, we haven't been seeing a whole lot of them. And when we did, they were terrible because they were giving so much experience when they died, which you don't want to do against a Night Elf on Terna stand. So I'm really curious. What does he go for? He's getting defend right now. He's adding a whole bunch of towers. And having the Shredder obviously is going to make it very easy for him to go into whatever he wants to go into and then to take a quick third base if he wants to as well.
Yeah, you mentioned the Griffin Aviary style before. That's what we're seeing a lot on NetEase nowadays, with Dragonhawks into later Griffins, maybe, once Bears come out. But the idea is you get a big air army early before the Night Elf is powerful enough to deal with that. Usually the way it's done is with a Warden and a Panda, but we don't see a Panda yet. We now see the Zeppelin drop. MK comes in, no second hero here yet, but again he gets the snipe on the Berserker. That's level 4 right away, and he can even steal an item right there. Actually, doesn't quite have the slots. Footmen have defense, so the Dryads kind of hurting themselves as well, partly with those spears.
Yeah, it's always tough here to apply the amount of pressure because like you can't kill much against Dryads, you can Stormbolt them, and the Footmen just get Fan of Knife, and then you're feeding the Warden an even quicker level 5 than she would have gotten if the Night Elf was just creeping outside on the map. So HawK needs to be really careful here because very soon he's going to have a Warden inside of his peasant lines just spamming Fan of Knives. But yeah, it looks like he wants to play the old school style that we saw for a very long time with the Knights, Breakers, and the Workshop player.
Yeah, indeed. And Foggy, he is absolutely not interested in a second hero here, is he? He's gonna get level 5 pretty soon. On tier 3, of course, you get plenty of bonus experience on the Warden. For any single hero, you get a bonus experience. Also on tier 2 a little bit. And here we see The Tome of Retraining? What? Isn't Blink Fan what you want in the late game?
Yeah, supposedly.
Player's forces are under attack.
Maybe he feels like he can't harass much, so he'll get Fan of Knife and Shadow Strike. Just fight on the map. And just kind of like harass the human while he starts creeping a second hero. Because I do expect there will be a second hero eventually. Or maybe it was a mistake, but I don't think so.
One experience away from that.
Oh.
Are you for real? That's a proper feels bad.
Yeah, should be able to get it, I guess, maybe on the right side with like the small Murloc camp. In the meantime, HawK. He always knows from there that, you know, when you're this close to level 5, you just have to get it. Especially with the Blood Mage second, like your mana management is going to be amazing. You're going to have so many spells to work with. And yeah, for now, that Warden has just kept the Tome of Retraining.
The item is cheaper nowadays, only 200 gold coins instead of 300.
Forces are under attack.
Alright, now she's finally level 5. And this is usually where the economy harass begins. Warden jumps into the peasants, Fan of Knives, right clicks, and they die quickly. Panda second comes out now finally as the Warden is level 5. And there's a drop at the natural, I believe. Warden came in. Yeah, but there was a Zeppelin perfectly in place. HawK ready for every bit of Warden harass, it seems.
Yeah, he's got a good amount of towers as well, making it very hard for the Warden to be super effective. Even if there were to be an avatar eventually also, like, it would take quite a bit of damage from the guard towers. Very nicely done here, pulling back the peasants. The Warden didn't quite have the mana just yet. Go for the Fan of Knife, so he's... Foggy kind of wasted an invuln here for not much. He hasn't been achieving any damage, but now on the other side, HawK's looking for the snipe. On some of this army, he's got breakers, he's got the first knight in position. That Blood Mage can siphon a lot of mana away from Foggy's heroes and give it to the Mountain King. And the Warden stopped there without any mana. The Panda is almost going down. He has to use the push and needs to run back home.
The fact that HawK can already be so gutsy here in the middle of the map, that's not the way it's supposed to look. Normally the Warden's supposed to control this part of the game, level up the Panda, and the human is supposed to be sort of afraid until finally he's got the big Breaker Knight army with the high upgrades and some decent hero levels. But HawK is just looking super confident, and Foggy, this game has been a bit of a disaster for him. This Warden has done hardly anything. She was across the map, blinked around, used the invul, didn't get off a single fan because she didn't have the mana. Now we see a fan coming in, but instantly with a Stormbolt Siphon getting drained in the mana department right away, and again she seems to be out of mana. Panda trying to do his best, but he's not even level 3 yet.
I think Foggy was trying to use his anti-magic potion at the last second, and that's going to be very costly. He lost so much mana because he didn't use that on time. That actually would have been a good timing for him to fight, I think, before the Mountain King's level 5. Like a lot of these units, they were not the healthiest necessarily. He's still not using the anti-magic potion. Why is he going to engage without it? Panda now being targeted. There's a staff on the Warden to get him out of there. And he's just going to transfer the Town Portal and get out. That was a terrible attempt to fight here by Foggy.
A little bit more experience going to HawK. If he should make it to Blood Mage 3, Pally 3, that would be amazing. Along with an MK level 5. We don't have Clab yet on the Mountain King, but a Tome of Retraining is also oftentimes seen on him. Wouldn't be too surprised to see that coming in here soon as the army is rising and rising in size. 80 supply almost for HawK. It seems like Foggy needs to catch up.
Once the Mountain King gets 5, there is not supposed to be a lot of Stormbolting, but rather a lot of clap happening. HawK, if he went on his side of the map here and just crept his merchants, he would just grab healing scrolls and also retrain. And yeah, Foggy, that had to be a mistake, the Tome of Retraining that he bought, because he sold it, I think, eventually. He never used it, so really strange to see a stronger player as Foggy make this kind of mistake here. HawK looking to push towards victory.
Do you think he changed his mind, or did he just forget that he already had Blink Fan?
I think he forgot in the heat of the moment. Maybe he clicked instead of using a hotkey. Oh, he's engaging without his Warden being there. The Panda keeps on taking so much damage and all of his mana has already been drained, but there is a lot of bears.
Yeah, Dryad's trying to dance into the back line. Nice splitting by Foggy, not getting them splattered to pieces too quickly. Of course, the more teams with the frag charge doing tons of damage, but the Warden is supposed to be back there to take out the mortar teams. Where's the Warden? She's always in the wrong spot. She's always too late to the party. She never gets anything done. Now, finally, perhaps a few kills going her way, but again out of mana. Pops the anti-magic now when she's already out of mana. At least she can't get Stonebolted now, but she can still get bashed. Warden perhaps still in trouble. Blink. Barely in time. HawK holds his position up here, but Foggy at least in the supply department pretty close, but it doesn't really look like he can take a fight.
Yeah, Foggy has to defend that expansion, otherwise he's going to be out of this game very soon. Panda went back home, used the Moonwells. Wilder did the same thing at the expansion. There is no more anti-magic potion here. Blinks at the backline. Fan of Knives the Mortar. He kills all of them, so those Dryads cannot be contested anymore. It's time for HawK to get out of there, as he simply cannot counter those Dryads at all anymore without Mortars. And I think he just can go creep the Merchants, like I said before now. Grab some scroll, retrain to Clap against all of those bears, because he was really missing Clap in that last fight. He never retrained yet. And I think the third base could be right around the corner for HawK to take as well.
Healing up nicely also, and there you called it. Tome of Retraining on the Mountain King. On him, it made sense, unlike on the Warden earlier. And now we have level 3 Clap and level 2 Stormbolt, and it's going to be very hard for the bears to deal with. Speaking of bears, the Panda Bear, still not level 3. The heroes for Foggy just in limbo this game, not getting a foot on the ground.
Can we talk about HawK's upgrades? Is that 3 too? He hasn't missed a bit. He's got so many upgrades already. Oh my god. Plus Vampiric.
He must
Plus
have
Clap
a
level
shredder,
3.
right?
Yeah. He did the laboratory on the right side eventually and grabbed that immediately. HawK always gets Shredder at a very good timing on this map. And yeah, now he's looking to just win a fight straight up. Frag Shards is already there again with the Mortars that is now remade to counter the Dryads. Warden is going to have to get out of there. I don't even think Foggy necessarily has that many Moonwells available. There is no counter to anti-magic potion though, so Foggy will grab that and look to spam some Fan of Knives inside of his army and wear it down.
First Blink Fan seems to be looking good. Panda again though, getting siphoned. The Zeppelin is draining it or stopping it at some point, but seems pretty late. Warden in trouble again, blinks away again. The Moonwell positioning is outstanding right there. Mortar team's definitely too far forward, but where are they supposed to go? The Warden's always going to follow them. Warden now dropping desperately low, has to be staffed out back to the main base. But Foggy perhaps not with too bad of a fight. A few Dryads are going down, and so are the bears. The Panda Bear, still not level 3, but now very close with the shop there. He has an anti-magic also that he can use, but these bears now are gonna get roasted. The Knight so strong with these upgrades and the aura.
Oh, the Claps have been insane the whole time. Clap level 3, cleaning those bears away, absolutely destroying them in the fight here. Blood Mage, always very active, draining a lot of mana away from those Night Elf heroes, transferring it to the Mountain King. And Foggy's running out of units here. He's down in no upkeep. I guess cup half full. Well, you got a human player about to kill you though. So you need more units right now, and the Warden is not even that close to level 6. It's only 5.5. Panda didn't even get level 3 this game. It's been trapped on level 2 for so long, and that expansion is gonna go down HawK with a masterful performance here on Terna's stand, even taking the third base on the top right-hand side.
Pretty much a perfect game by HawK. This Paladin got level 3 before the Panda. That is unheard of, and that is unwinnable from the Night Elf perspective. Yes, he's taking out some mortar teams here and there, but it's not like HawK really needs them anymore. These Knights are just super tuned, super buffed. They can't be dealt with anymore. There's not enough spell damage to take them out. These Scourge Bone Chimes have absolutely been wonderful. The Natural is taken out. Foggy drops down to 1 mining base. HawK getting up to 3, and will be claiming the 1-0 map lead. Foggy knows this game is lost. Maybe thinking about the next map. Because, yeah, there's no chance anymore in this.
Yeah, I don't see how he could ever turn this here. I mean, HawK just has so much great upgrades by him and really a fantastic timing. If he had waited just a little more, maybe Foggy can get to a few Mountain Giants, but that's it. HawK wins 10 at stands after a great performance using the hero that is best at on this map, by far the Mountain King. Was that a Mountain King mug? Did he just cheer to us as well?
I didn't quite see him there, but if he was buggy towards the end, he certainly wasn't in the beginning. Very good game there by HawK. When he lost the staff, I thought, oh, maybe he's going to lose control of this early game. But it wasn't him losing control of the early game, it was Foggy. We pointed out, you saw it, I think, first, the Ancient of War in the bottom left, in a bit of a risky position. It has a lot of potential upside if you get that camp fully crept before intervention and you get level 3 and can go to the peasants right away. It's great. You can do great damage. But if HawK arrives there earlier, when the Warden's only level 2, you lose some units and you don't get level 3. Suddenly you notice, damn, why did I take this risk? That's where Foggy started falling behind in the early game. He didn't get any damage done early in that match, but also late game, it didn't feel like his best shape, really. Or is that just me?
Yeah. Like, that mistake with the Tome of Retraining, like, we never really see this. I was trying to make sense of it. I'm like, oh yeah, he wants Shadow Strike and Fan of Knives. No, Donkey, that's not what you want. Against the Mountain King, you need Blink, you need to be able to get out of there. You need to be able to engage effectively. But the items, though, definitely in HawK's favor. Opened up with the greater mana, whereas Foggy got Scroll of the Beast, which is kind of completely useless for a very long time. Eventually, you're supposed to go into Bear, so you would have that anyway. And then before that, unless you go Mass Huntresses, which wasn't the plan at all here, it's just not very good.
Yeah, and that's usually one of Foggy's strengths. His Warden play is normally exceptional. Lawlight is the best, but right after usually comes Foggy in second position. Here today it fails, even a Master can sometimes fail to pull it off perfectly, which brings us to a very different map. Concealed Hill is perhaps the only map where we absolutely will not see a Warden, where she's unplayable because of bad creeping. This should be a much more reliable style, I guess we should call it, with Keeper and Mountain Giants. Is that what's in the cards now?
I would assume so. I think Foggy is extremely good with Keeper, and he doesn't even need necessarily to go into Giants. I've seen him play Keeper into Bears and just hit the correct timings to win the game in many of the games that he streamed recently before he did start taking some time off stream to prepare for this tournament specifically.
He was struggling a little bit earlier against Krav. It seemed he also dropped the first map, but then he came back when he knew what he was up against. But there it was definitely a curveball with the Crypt Lord, although in the interview, which was amazing, he said he kind of saw it coming and it's a normal strategy. I wasn't aware of this, but that's why Foggy's playing in this tournament. I'm just casting this tournament. HawK didn't do anything outstanding or unconventional, really. A little bit of old school, but sorry, I cut you off.
Well, don't cut yourself short, Remo. You're the Skill Cup champion. Everybody's proud of you for that one. Nobody can take that away from you.
My first entry into esports earnings, dude. This is where the legacy begins.
You're on the map now. Be careful. Everybody's gunning for your head.
Yeah, for humans, you know, in Terra Stand, normally it's very straightforward. We're going to see MK in expansion. On other maps where it's harder to expand, like AZ or like Concealed, there's a lot more space for personal preference and personal expression. That's the word I was looking for. So what I'm trying to say is, HawK, what's he going to play? Is he going to fast expand, or is he going to tech up on one base? What do you think?
I'm not sure, actually. Like, I would say I'm leaning towards expansion maybe a little more. I feel like it's more his style. Like we've seen Blade recently play a lot of one base, but I still feel like HawK is like really good at expanding. He knows how to throw it in there at the right time. And he's really focused on playing very standard and having really good execution, which last game was completely there. So maybe an expansion here from him on Concealed Hill.
And that seems to be not too far off. Keeper against expansion. Keeper with mass archers into a bit of MG triple hero. Where have the Knight of triple heroes been? They've looked so good in the past with the multiple orbs, 2 orbs, maybe even 3 orbs of venom. There's been a severe lack of orbs, if you ask me. Is this where Foggy now goes back to that style? Keeper Naga Demon could be a play, but there's, as we said, many different options.
All right, let's jump into the game here. We see the first few buildings on the way in the top right-hand side. Representing Ukraine, the Night Elf player, it's Foggy. Just a standard build order. Shantel 4 here on the first green camp. On the other side, HawK. Everything normal as well. The altar on the side that he wants to creep at is always going to be on the left-hand side on this map. And most likely he's going to do the small orange camp the closest to his base, but there's always that option to try and go for the laboratory first, which good elves are supposed to scout for and punish you if you go for it.
Yeah, seems a little bit risky, a little dicey. A few detonates out of nowhere can quickly turn your mood quite sour. So, we expect this to be a little more conservative. Expansion, yay or nay? That's the question here. From a human player's perspective that you have, does confidence come into play? If your game 1 goes so well, you feel like, well, this was absolutely a smash. How can you stop me? Is this where you feel more inclined to play a fast expansion, or should that not be part of your thought process?
Yeah, maybe it could be. Like if you're really in your comfort zone and you're right, oh, my execution right now is really good. I'm playing well today, but I feel like HawK's always confident anyway. Like not only did he sound confident in the interview, he's also acting like it, and he's playing like it a lot of the time. Like if you look at his recent ladder grind, he hasn't been doing that well, but then look at him. He shows up in this tournament, beats one of the best human mirror player in round 1 in Blades, and then now he's up 1-0 against Foggy. Like this guy doesn't care that, you know, he's got an around 50% win rate on ladder right now, and he's been having a rough time after taking a bit of a break. He's crushing it.
If I was a human player, I would feel Concealed Hill is a bad map just because you always lose this footy and always give Keeper level 2. Like this happens without fail. But I guess you have to do it. You have to scout, you have to check out what's going on. And Foggy makes use of that. I love that. He didn't just blindly go into treants. He's moving now with the keeper into the middle of the map. Probably going to creep the green. HawK also creeping the green. So it's going to be level 2 for both our players. Here comes the 4th farm, I believe. So that should be the expansion then.
Yeah, HawK continues with finding very decent items here. Slippers of Agility and Circlet, always nice to have, where on the other side we got the ring for Foggy, not ideal. But yeah, when there's a keeper already on top of you here, there is a big argument that can be made for simply not expanding at all. Can he get the deny? Yes, looks like he got it. But yeah, I'm really curious whether he still goes for this. Like there was already the extra farm made. It looks like he might just wait for the knight to get closer to the crypts without taking damage and then ignite the creeping of that camp. He wants to stay the course, Remo.
All right, let's see if he can keep this course or if he's going to have to turn this ship around. Wisps flying in. How good the detonate's going to be. These absolutely crucial against the Watch Elementals. Oh, one does not connect. Taken out nicely with the AM and the Militia. And that should be a fairly safe creep then, I suppose. Focusing on the Footman right away. But the Militia, safe for the time being.
Yeah, this camp is going to do so much damage to this entire human force, and Foggy is right on top of these units, looking to try and kill whatever he can here. Peasants trying to run away, but so many, they're all poisons! And all solo on hit points. HawK gets a deny on one of them, actually. That's very important to prevent the level 3 from the Keeper. For as long as possible, sends a new wave of Militia in, as he still is doing damage onto that Keeper.
I think that's 4 peasants going down, though. That certainly hurts, but the Keeper now should be forced away finally. The rest of the Militia creep the camp again, taking a lot of damage. Oh, and the archers might be able to fly in. A last hit steal here with the archer would be amazing. That would be preventing level 3 AM, but that's not quite going to happen. Foggy with his favorite item, the telestaff, teleports home, is going to heal up, and is getting ready for round 2.
A Talisman of Evasion found by HawK. There's a chance it might be a sell if he wants to try and buy boots plus dust as soon as possible. But yeah, already being level 3 here is huge. Foggy looking to try and work on his own level 3, and HawK immediately moving out like he knows there was the staff out, so Keeper couldn't be that close to his expansion right now. He sold Evasion, and he hasn't bought anything.
It didn't quite have the
to buy a
gold.
circlet.
It was a little broke right there, so he sold and then he set up the expansion. So he didn't quite have the cash for the boots there right away. Might go for it later. And Foggy, so close to level 3, but doesn't quite have it yet. He's going for a panda second. Hello. No Naga, no demon, it's a panda.
He wants to go for a bit of a peasant slaughter here, so he's going to show up at the expo. Treants are going to be summoned, so he can start using Entangle as well. Breath of Fire about to be used on those peasants. And that tower is getting closer and closer to finishing here. He needs that right now to start draining that mana away from those heroes. Peasants in quite a bit of trouble. A lot of them are dying. So even though the expansion will eventually go up, that's unavoidable. It's very annoying for human to lose peasants now, because then your lumber economy gets completely wrecked. And for you to tech and get whatever you need at tier 2 is going to be much more difficult.
Yeah, and there was 3 more peasants going down there, 4 earlier. If I count that correctly, it should be 7. Maybe it's been a bit more. Lumber right now for HawK, looking okay. He's going for the second barracks for mass footy defense, with also the defend upgrade before teching. So he's going all defense for now.
Yeah, so he's anticipating perfectly what Foggy is doing. He knows that there's a lot of archers, that there's going to be dryads, and against piercing damage, defense footmen are amazing. The Archmage really can do as much as he wants in the meantime. But there is a Keeper with level 2 Entangle to kill a lot of these footmen. There is a Panda as well with Breath of Fire, and Foggy is usually extremely good against this kind of style where you get a lot of footmen to try and harass him. He'll just kite you all the way back home and then let his buildings kind of reinforce his army to distribute those slaps that Neo is so fond of. Clean up the footman force and then be in a fine position.
Let me tell you, me having been in China with Neo together, I only know that too well.
I don't even know.
It seemed like perhaps a bit of an overextension by HawK. Losing quite a few footmen there. He did push Foggy back, but didn't get much for his effort in terms of kills. And the Keeper with that level 2 Entangle, definitely good for controlling this little human force right now. HawK has started the tech finally, and more footies on the way. Foggy Wait, where's the Tree of Life? I was thinking about it. There must be a Tree of Life somewhere. We see it in the production tab. It's probably close to the main, so Foggy not going to push too heavy. He wants to go to 2 bases himself.
Yeah. Like, it feels like you have to. Playing on 1 base just wouldn't work. I think Human would just identify what's coming, then get the defense, and then you've just kind of lost the game. But yeah, Foggy, we know how much he likes Nature's Blessing as well. There it is. He's already queued it. Those Trance going to be even stronger as that finishes. He's already countering the Water Elementals, which is one of the best things that HawK had going for him. So as long as he stays mobile here, he's just going to creep, try and get his Panda to level 3, and just get a big experience lead. So despite having a much later expansion, he's kind of making up for that with the hero levels and with the tech advantage right now. HawK's getting Masonry. What?
It's very early, especially seeing the expansions. That is sort of surprising. But I guess he started before he saw the Counter Expo. Top cancelled, so no Moonstone for Foggy, no Clarities. That's a little annoying. But he's really going to need later on the shop on tier 3 for the Orb. But for that, we're still sort of far away. Man, it's been a lot of footies dying this game, though. We might be nearing double digits here.
There's probably going to be a lot more with that Keeper being level 3. Grabs the Shredder from the right-hand side, which had been mostly cleaned up by HawK, so by Foggy, sorry, so that almost backfires. He's trying to go for the interception. A Shredder is a very slow unit.
Oh, does he get it? Oh, 375 gold, super expensive. This is gonna lumberlock HawK. Oh, he misses the block though. Level 2 breath, is it enough? It must be. It must be. Oh, big kill.
Yeah, very important, because that's also gonna weaken HawK's lumber economy. Oh my god, the tree gets engaged at the top. He's already taken so much damage.
Foggy loses overview and loses his tree because he's not paying attention to the minimap. And this is the shakiness we talked about before. Old Foggy wouldn't have done this. Don't want to be too critical, but this expo going down is a massive blow to the Night Elf.
Oh, this is so bad. I guess Foggy has to fight, somehow chase this army away finally, then creep the expansion and then take it. But this is a very delayed expansion. He's so far behind right now. HawK, honestly, a lot of people thought, myself included, I had my doubts of him going to this group because of his recent break and his struggles on ladder. I really thought he was going to have a hard time going to this group, especially with how Blade dominates in Human Mirror. He's really one of the best out there, but HawK got the win there, and now it looks like he might be able to get a 2-0 against Foggy. I don't think many people expected that, maybe not even HawK.
Yeah, and credit to HawK, playing a really good game. But we cannot say that Foggy is playing this flawlessly, not at all. And, you know, some mistakes are a little more painful, some a little less. Sending that Tree of Life into the creeps, definitely on the painful side. Foggy has to do something smart now to come back. Perhaps dropping is an answer. We've seen that before with the Keeper having summons and the Panda having breath. As Zeppelin dropped into the back of the main. Could be exactly what the Doctor ordered.
Yeah, but this may be why HawK made Masonry as early as he did. Like, he anticipated some sort of aggression at some point and he wanted to get ready for it. Interesting, I feel like a lot of humans here, they would just go tier 3, but HawK is just massing rifles and priests. He's convinced that Foggy will eventually try and re-expand, and he wants to, I mean, this is getting spotted as well here right now. This is so perfect for HawK. Drop a trend, pick up the archer. Oh my god.
And now he can't do it anymore. Don't tell me he's losing the Zeppelin! That would have been sort of the perfect slash most horrible ending of the day for Foggy. But very representative of his day so far. And the Zeppelin flying to the tower range, almost going down right there. Alright, Foggy's doing what he can to keep his chances alive, but HawK should clean this up here before too long.
See, one more Breath of Fire is going to get the tower and a lot of the peasants. He's actually doing a ton of damage. This spell wasn't ready yet. Priest started training, not quite finished. HawK taking a lot of losses here in the main base, and Foggy is just gonna be happy to town portal out of there after killing a ton of those peasants. Oh, what? Oh, he clicked on the tree?
Oh, no!
No.
Dude, some days, right?
Yeah, every
Isn't there a term for that in poker when just everything's going wrong?
I don't know. You're tilting it. I don't know. When it rains, it pours. I think that's the one that's is suitable here for Foggy in this series. That was very unfortunate. He's making so many mistakes that you usually would never see from him.
Yeah. It almost looks like nervousness, but that is usually never an issue for Foggy. He's played on the biggest stage, he was in the WGL Grand Final, and usually always performs, but a lot of these errors do, to the naked eye, look like nervousness. Is that what it is? I don't know. He's definitely in a rough spot. MK gets the Cloak of Flames against Bears. That could be pretty nice, but we're still far away from that. Foggy, what's he gonna do now? Is it still viable to counter-expand, or is it too late for that now anyways?
Yeah, it feels like it's too late. But then eventually he's gonna run out of gold is the problem. He's trying to kill more peasants. He's really trying to keep HawK down economy and supply-wise, which is actually very smart, because if you look at HawK's supply right now, he's got 60, and he's mining at 7+7 on each base because he's in low upkeep. So that's 14. Against Foggy's 10 because he's in no upkeep. So it's not that big a difference. He actually gets back on top of those towers at a very decent time here. He's going to get snipes on them, but he's losing units left and right. Foggy on 39 supply. A counter-attack here could be very dangerous. Don't lose that Zeppelin over the tree. That's something that Foggy has had happen, in my opinion, too many times in the past for a player of his caliber.
Yeah, I'm still surprised we don't see a workshop yet. Could have power built that, go for a gyro. That seems like would have been a smart idea. But not like HawK really needs it so badly. He's got a strong army. He's got a strong economy. Once he gets those towers up, he's going to be feeling more secure at home, where Foggy still has a laughable army and is trying again with a counter expansion, also the tier 3. If Foggy gets his expansion up, gets to his MGs, gets to his 80 supply with orbs and stuff, then he's going to be looking okay again. But until then, HawK has a big window to do big damage. He's at 70 already.
Yeah, this Illusion Scout is amazing here. He saw the army movements, but it was almost like a trap by Foggy. He sends back in the heroes, and because he sniped the latest towers that were being made, he can get back on top of these peasants and kill a lot of them. That Panda doing work. That expansion gonna be cancelled again. And usually this is where, if you're Foggy, you try and get a bunch of giants, but I mean, because you even really have the economy, because he hasn't really been creeping much. He's been losing units that he's had to replace. Q's the first giant as Tree Eternity. He's getting closer and closer to finishing, but Foggy in a second, he's gonna have to town portal back home to try and defend, because HawK's going for the kill now.
Yeah, no shop means no mountain giants, so we're gonna see only one of them here by the looks of it. The Tree of Eternity, of course, he cannot afford to lose. Rifle damage is okay, not the best piercing against 4 to 5, but it sort of works. Foggy doing big damage in the main as well. The Treant's gonna take out all the towers and peasants here, maybe, but he's staffing back home. Double staff, back into the main base, and a TP right after, trying to join in with the army again. Coming in at an angle, but it's only Dryads. What are these Dryads supposed to do?
Oh, there's no staff of preservation. Panda has to town portal again. What is going on here? Where does he even town portal? Maybe to the back. Giant at the front, but he doesn't have the upgrades for them just yet. Dryad's being pumped out. But the entire army of Foggy is already so low, and HawK is still going strong. Mountain King level 3, with, of course, Stormbolt level 2 in this case, is cleaning up. There is not much Foggy can do, it feels like right now. 43 supplies trying to hold on. HawK gets the victory with the 2-0 against Foggy, and we can see he's relieved here.
Yeah, a burst of